tuning in with us today. Today's guest, Jason Gilles, joins us on the show to talk about his story as a Haitian migrant, legal migrant to the United States of America, his family's history, the ties they have with the corruption of Hillary Clinton and the Clinton family. We're going to talk about that. USAID, Elon Musk exposing and breaking down all of this corruption in these agencies and these organizations, and getting back to what our founding fathers intended this nation to be, a constitutional republic. He breaks down the digital age as he has a lot of experience in AI and the tech world. So we're going to talk about all of that today. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram, Hannah Faulkner 1776, Twitter, Hannah F 1776. And if you have not already ordered my new book, Last Chance to Save Our Republic, you can get your copy today on almost all online bookstores, or you can go to my website, cultureof1776.com. You can also get this hat, Make America Classy Again, on the website. Grab it for your friend, family member. It is a great gift idea, and you can use code PATRIOT to get 10% off your order. And while you're at it, make sure you go check out Burrow Holistic Health. It is my personal naturopath doctor's health practice. They see patients every single day. They have so many different modalities in their clinic. I use their superhuman machine every single week. I'm about to go check it out tonight. It is red light therapy, oxygen, magnetism, a 3-in-1 machine. I actually just saw the creator and founder of the superhuman machine this week at Mar-a-Lago. So make sure you guys go to burrowholistichealth.com to go check out that brand and grab yourself some supplements while you're at it so we can make America healthy again. It starts with us. It starts in our homes to make ourselves healthy and then ultimately make America healthy again. I hope you guys enjoy this episode with Jason. Tune in.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Patriot TV is launching a brand new TV series showcasing American-made products, and your business could be featured. Whether you sell your products online on Etsy or Shopify and dream of reaching millions of viewers on smart TVs like Samsung, Sony, TCL, and LG, or apps like Roku, Android, and Apple TV, this is your chance. We're searching for US-based businesses offering all types of products and services proudly made in the USA. If you've ever wanted to showcase your products on TV like QVC or the Home Shopping Network, now's your opportunity. Support our American economy, grow your business, and be seen by loyal Patriot viewers across the country. Know someone with a business or have a business yourself? Don't miss out. Contact us at supportingpatriots.com today. Be a guest on this new exciting TV series. Let's put your American-made products in the spotlight.
If you're about to replace your roof, stop. There's a solution about 80% less expensive. 9 out of 10 roofs can be saved by RoofMax. Guaranteed to extend the life of your current roof by 5 to 15 years at a fraction of the cost of a new roof. RoofMax's deep penetrating power restores flexibility and water protection. Nobody wants to replace their roof. Restore it instead with RoofMax for 80% less. Call now for a free roof inspection.
Sideways, will you be ready? Meet the new Patriot Power Generator 1200, a solar generator that's lightweight with more capacity and more life cycles, and recharges twice as fast, all at a fraction of the price. In a blackout, power lights, TVs, medical equipment, even your fridge. No gas, fumes, or noise. It's safe to use inside your home. This is about peace of mind. To learn more about this amazing generator and get your free solar panel, go to Patriot TV Store and look for the solar generator banner.
All right, Mr. Jason, thank you so much for coming on the Hannah Faulkner Show today. It has been such a pleasure to get to know you and your sweet family, as you guys have come out to several of the events that I had. So I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And, it's always been great, getting to know you and your family. You come from a great background, a strong family. Love your dad. He's a great guy that I look up to, and I'm like, I got to mirror that. He's got that it factor as a father, and I'm raising 3 little girls myself. So I just, I'd like to raise my kids, in a very similar manner. But yeah, thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into all of this crazy wokeness that we're seeing across the country, and including Hillary Clinton and her corrupt ties to Haiti, that you really don't hear being talked about in the legacy media, tell my listeners a little bit about yourself. What kind of stirred a fire in your soul to get involved in the political fight and fight for truth. Tell a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you're on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start off, yes, my name is Jason Gilles. I am a co-founder of a tech startup right now, and I do some real estate on the side as well. And so my background really stems from I come from an immigrant home, both parents being from Haiti. So I'm born American here, Haitian American, and it's throughout my childhood, I've just gotten to learn so much about my culture, learning about America, learning about the ties. And so, my political journey really started when I saw the direct implications of the corrupt government that was in office during a pivotal time in Haiti. And so this was 2010. There was a great earthquake that happened that really, really shook the country of Haiti to its core, and displaced a lot of families, a lot of children. And during that time, what we saw that around the world, really, the global elites, and the various organizations and political figures that tried to bring resources and tried to provide help, or allegedly provide help, to this little country called Haiti. And so my close ties are this is I have an aunt that's in Haiti, my mom's older sister, and she had been the mayor at that time. She had been a mayor for 19 years of the little village that she lived in, and it's in the capital of Haiti, which is where the earthquake had the most effect, and a lot of children became orphans, in the span of 20 seconds, where the earth just shook to its core, and you saw just the devastation. But there was over 80 something kids within my aunt's village alone, and neighboring villages, that became orphans in a split second. Now, my aunt has always been the heart of her community, because not only was she the mayor for that community, but she owned a boutique. She ran a boutique right out of her home, and she also was a seamstress, and she knitted all of the clothes for kids to go to school, because every year you basically have to get new uniforms. And so people were constantly coming to her. So um, she's a very astute businesswoman, and I look up to her too. She's an incredible woman. But during that time of this crisis that happened to Haiti, with there being so many kids that have now lost their parents, whether they were part of a two-parent home or a single-parent home, their parents died. Why? Because most of those kids were at school during that time, and their parents were at home. Most of those parents, the houses just crushed them pretty much. And so what my aunt ended up doing is she opened up her home. Her home was one of maybe six homes that was not really shaken to its core, and it stood strong during this earthquake. And her home became a safe haven to these orphans. Here's where it gets crazy. She had the orphans in her home, I would say, for about a month and a half, after the earthquake. And because my aunt, she had ties here, my mom was here. She ended up applying for a visa in the 90s, and she'd always renew her visa, but like she always knew she didn't want to leave Haiti. It's just she's too big of a beacon for her community to leave the country. So she would get a visa, come to America, and then she would fly back home to Haiti. During that time of that whole crisis, she came to America, and I remember going to the dollar store with my aunt, and we went through maybe $2 to $3 stores, and we cleared out the shelves of just shampoo and conditioner, because she was buying supplies to be able to take care of these kids. And she spent upwards of $1,000 worth of supply that she was then packing in her suitcase. She came here with nothing, right? She just hopped on the plane, came to America. That time I was living in Central Florida, and I went with her to all of these, and so I had close ties to really understand what she was going through, and she was just telling me all of the crazy stories, and I'm like, wow. And at that time, I was in 10th grade in high school, and I got to witness this, firsthand, like the effects of what was happening in Haiti, being in America, having my aunt go and come into America. I'm helping her out with buying supplies to then be able to take care of these kids. And not only that, but my mom ended up sending my aunt, I think, close to $10,000. Like, she filed her taxes, got an income tax check, and sent the entire thing to Haiti to help out with these kids. Well, here's what's crazy. UNICEF and the Clinton Foundation came in with paperwork, came with UN soldiers, and was like, yeah, we have to round up these kids, and we'll take these kids into our control, but we'll keep you updated with statuses of where they're going and what we're going to be doing with them, and you can know more about this, that, and the third. And here's the paperwork that I need you to sign off and to release all of these children. And she was like, well, some of these kids I've known for a very long time. I've known them since they were 4 or 5 years old. They were coming to me, and now they're 10, 11, 12. And they're now I'm taking care of them as their guardian parent
Yeah.
while we figure out a situation. And they were basically like, well, we'll take it from here. Here's what's crazy. They took those kids, and within 2 or 3 months, my aunt started asking questions like, hey, where'd the kids, how are the kids? What's going on? Where'd you guys bring them? She was being redirected over and over and over, to the point where, finally she was like, I've had enough of this. I need to go speak to the president of Haiti to figure out what the heck is going on. So she actually gets in communications with the president of Haiti, in which I didn't know that she had already known him before he went into office, but she ended up getting in contact with him, and she was like, uh, what's going on? Like, where are these kids? And like, I heard they were rounding up kids from, different areas in different parts of the country. Where are they taking all these kids? Like, are they bringing them into the United States? I mean, that'd be great, but we'd still just want some peace of mind, because I know that their parents would want the best lives for them. We don't know what happened to them.
Mm.
And then come to find out, years later, this was 2014, my aunt got word that this girl that was part of this group managed to escape whatever confinements she was in. And she was trying to blow the whistle on how they're sex trafficking
Mm.
the kids.
Yeah.
Now, when she found that out, she called my mom devastated. She called all her contacts in America. She was like, we need to figure out how we can combat this, or what we can do, or if we can get in contact with the Secretary of State, which was Hillary Clinton.
Mm.
And there was nothing at the time that we could have done. I had, on my dad's side, I had one of my cousins. He's actually part of the Secret Service. He was part of Biden's detail in Secret Service when Biden was vice president. And so I reached out to him, and I had a conversation with him. He's like, I can get information for you, but I can't make any promises. And I said, okay, whatever you can get me, I just want to know what happened. And up until that point, once again, I've still not really looked into politics like that. But during that time, I think within a month of me making that call, there was news that came out that uh, money that was supposed to go to Haiti, that was allocated, it was like close to what, $14 billion or something like that,
Yeah.
was supposed to be allocated towards the rehabilitation of the country and the stabilization of the country. None of it went there. I think they said only like maybe 400 million or something like that that went to, but whatever the figure was, it's like they even that figure didn't show up. And then Haiti ended up going to Venezuela to go get some extra funding for like $900 million. They call it the Petro Caribe money, and it was just pallets of cash that was flown into Haiti, and then that money disappeared.
Yep.
So then we later find out that there was corrupt politicians that was basically pocketing everything. And even the president, it later came out that the president, the sitting president at the time, he was actually placed there by Hillary Clinton. And if you remember correctly, during the whole crisis with Benghazi, there was a situation where in the midst of that crisis, Hillary took a plane to Haiti to meddle in the elections of Haiti and what was going on in Haiti. Now, why would she do that? And then I did some deep dive research, and I found out that Hillary Clinton's brother, who owns a law firm in Palm Beach, he owns land where there's supposed gold mines in Haiti. And I continue to do my research, and I found out that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton has always had a relationship with Haiti, but like the destabilization of Haiti was partly due to them because of the fact that Bill Clinton created a contract back when he was in office that allowed rice farmers to export their rice and so that they could sell their rice to Haiti when Haiti already had its own rice industry and what the and he ended up, you can find evidence of this, but he ended up testifying that he didn't know that it would devastate the country that much, him importing rice from Arkansas through Arkansas farmers to bring into Haiti. So it was there's a slew of things where it's like it's direct ties. And there's not to sound like, a tinfoil hat wearer, but like the fact that they went to Haiti on their honeymoon, they participated in voodoo rituals, like a lot of that stuff don't sit well with me. So my entire political my whole journey in politics started from all of these things that I'm now realizing I'm having close ties to. I'm literally making phone calls to my cousin, part of the CIA, trying to figure out where kids are, just to understand what is truly going on right now. And come to find out, there's a proliferation of just evilness that's happening behind closed doors and no one knows about it. And come to find out, then it's like the Epstein Island thing. And then we come and somehow my aunt was able to make the connection that little girl that ended up calling her in 2014, she actually escaped from Epstein Island.
Mm.
And I was just like, what in the actual heck? 2015, when it was Hillary versus Trump, I was like, I'm voting for Trump. At that point, I didn't identify whether I was Democrat or Republican. When I got my driver's license at 18, I was like, I don't know the difference between Democrat and Republican. What's my family? I think they're Democrat. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna put Democrat on my license, just not knowing anything. But when I turned 18, that was during the time that Obama was running for a second term, and I was like, well, I haven't seen him make any changes. The things that he promised, he didn't promise. He hasn't done. And then on top of that, the corruption that's happening right under his nose with Hillary Clinton, like he's not doing anything about that. So I'm not voting for him. Actually, I'm not going to vote at all. And when I asked a family member who was part of the military about Mitt Romney, they're like, yeah, I don't trust that guy as far as I could touch him or something like that. And he was just like, yeah, I don't trust Mitt. I don't, and I definitely don't trust Obama. And so I was like, okay, so I guess I'm not voting. This was 2012. And that my first time voting was 2015 when Trump was running. And I was like, well, I'm going to vote for Trump for two reasons. One, I've done a book report on him. And I'm like, if anyone can get the job done as far as turning this country around, it's that guy. Who else can go down negative billions and then come back up, right?
Yeah.
anyone who can turn this country around, I'm putting my money on that guy. And during that time when I made that decision, he was running as independent. He wasn't a Democrat or Republican. So still up to that point, I hadn't identified what party I was a part of. But then I was like, let me crack open the book and let me figure out, what are the differences between the two parties. And when I realized that, I was like, well, I'm definitely conservative, because conservatives hold all the morals and principles of Christianity. And so that's what I believe in. And so at that point, I was like, okay, so I'm a Republican, and I owned it. And this was 2015. And that was around the time where I was dating my wife, and her and I, we had never had a single conversation about politics up until, I said, I'm going to go vote. And she's like, who are you voting for? And I was like, I'm voting for Trump. And I was like, who are you voting for? And she's like, I'm voting for Trump. And I was like, this is great. I was like, why are you voting for Trump? And she was like, I don't know. She's like, I'm Republican. And I was like, cool. Okay. I just found out I'm Republican. And she's like, how'd you find out? I was like, because I'm Christian. And it's just the Christian values and the Christian principles that underline some of the conservative views. It's there, that's what sits with me. And she's like, "Oh, okay. Is like the rest of your family conservative?" And I was like, I don't know. I didn't ask. And so that was kind of my journey there. And so during that time, I was so engulfed into everything that was happening with the corruption of Hillary Clinton, and then the debates happened. Trump is calling out her corruptions. And it got so deep that and I knew it was evident that she committed these crimes, because there's council members that's part of the Haitian Council of Miami, who were like, there's people that was on that council. There was a specific gentleman that was supposed to testify against Hillary Clinton. He ended up dying the week of. And not to make any assumptions about anything, but if there's a constant history of people who are supposed to be testifying and they end up dying towards a specific person,
yep,
I think it's a little more than a conspiracy at this point. And there's a bunch of declassified CIA documents that does state that there is a gun that does have a bullet, that once someone is shot with the bullet, when autopsy is done, it looks like the person had a cardiac arrest, even though they were shot with this specific bullet. Like, there's that kind of technology out there. Now, it's not to say anything else. I'm just going to leave that out there. I'm just going to leave it at that. But the corruption is there, and it's evident. She took the money, the billions of dollars was redirected to Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, and no one has had her, testify on her side of the story, or what is going on, or why is there this discrepancy? What did you guys do with the cash? Nothing.
In today's healthcare landscape, the CDC, the medical industry, and big pharma rely on complex pharmaceutical regimens that oftentimes leave Americans searching for more and more medications. That is why I am proud to support and partner with my doctor, Dr. Susanna Underwood, a board-certified naturopath and master herbalist. Dr. Underwood has created her own private line of supplements, Burrow Labs, to deliver real solutions to the highest quality and efficacy. At Burrow Labs, each supplement is strategically designed by Dr. Underwood to cater to not just the individual, but the general public, ensuring effective results rather than just putting a Band-Aid on the symptom, which is often what big pharma and the medical industry tend to do. It's time to stop settling for subpar health solutions and start experiencing the benefits that come from supplements that deliver real results. Visit burrowholistichealth.com to learn more.
War is this massive racket. I mean, we are at war constantly. Peace is the aberration, and war is the norm.
Every American needs this historical DVD keepsake. Flynn delivered the truth, whatever the cost. One of America's most treasured military heroes.
So if I was to give a grade, like you get in grade school, right? I give us an A+ for participating in these never-ending wars. I give us an F America winning.
Order now at the Patriot TV store. Go to Patriot TV, click on Store, and grab a once-in-a-lifetime chance to own a treasured piece of American history and get your own personal download link to watch America's most talked-about movie, as well as a DVD hand-signed by General Michael Flynn.
For those that are running our country, they want this perpetuation of war, and you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose?
The Patriot TV store. Incredible savings and a secure, hassle-free shopping experience.
When things go sideways, will you be ready? Meet the new Patriot Power Generator 1200, a solar generator that's lightweight with more capacity and more life cycles, and recharges twice as fast, all at a fraction of the price. In a blackout, power lights, TVs, medical equipment, even your fridge. No gas, fumes, or noise. It's safe to use inside your home. This is about peace of mind. To learn more about this amazing generator and get your free solar panel, go to Patriot TV store and look for the solar generator banner.
I couldn't give anything a higher endorsement.
I would be remiss had I not include Cardio Miracle on my very short list of secrets.
It's the real deal. It's a real product. It's not another supplement.
I'm operating about 6 to 8 hours, and I've noticed that being on this Cardio Miracle has made a huge difference.
Since I started taking Cardio Miracle, about 8 months into it, the benefits have been fantastic.
You know, if I get hungry, then I just have a Cardio Miracle.
Not only is it safe, but it's necessary to take Cardio Miracle to stay well.
This let me sleep. It's showing up more energy, more get up and go. And it's all because of what this company does.
For me as a doctor, Cardio Miracle is a staple.
Cardio Miracle to me is hope in a glass.
To try Cardio Miracle for yourself and get a special fan discount, go to the host page right now and click the link for Cardio Miracle.
They ended up taking the money, and I think like a week later or a month later, her daughter had a massive wedding worth millions of dollars. And then, you know, her daughter started getting all of this money out of nowhere, and now her net worth is like upwards of $80 million. And no one can tell you how or why. And so there's a massive corruption here. And now Doge is, they found the same things. Right? They've seen the money that's supposed to be allocated towards these different programs that are just complete nonsense. A lot of it was under the jurisdiction and purview of Hillary Clinton when she was in office. A lot of the stuff that's going on, a lot of the programs have been around, you know, back when Obama was in office. And these things are now being shown and brought to light to the American people. And what's crazy is that we have enough issues here in our own country where we shouldn't be sending money, bounds and bounds of money to all of these different places and for different things. Like, why are we sending money to the Middle East to teach them how to do clay when they've been making clay for thousands of years, way before we were even a country? But we have money allocated towards that, right? Why do we have some of the most ridiculous Doge findings that I've seen has got me thinking, like, you know, and this is prior to Doge. I knew that what was happening in our country this past 4 years with this last administration was it was an act of criminal activity at the highest level.
Yeah.
Like we've never seen before.
That's right.
And during that time, I just kept feeling this fire of just like this rage of just like, you know, they call it righteous indignation. And I'm just like, there is something here that people aren't talking about. Like there's things that's happening in this country that no one is standing up and saying. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure something out and how to say it. And part of the reason why, you know, I had to leave where I was because, you know, I just felt like, okay, I need to make sure when I start to open my mouth and I'm going to start speaking on these things, I need to make sure I'm at a place where it's safe for my family and it's safe for myself. Now, and at the end of the day, I know God's got me, God's got my back, and we're going to make it happen. This country right now, you know, thank God that Trump's back in office, because this country, this past 4 years, there was so much confusion, so much corruption. And so much, this just the drama level was at the highest it's ever been. The confusion's at the highest it's ever been. We're seeing depression at the highest levels it's ever been. And it's getting out of hand. And more people need to wake up to understand that this is not a game, right? And the fact that we've gotten to a place where they're just weak. People are scared to say stuff. I mean, pretty much this country's been like euthanized. It's like this country is not to say that, but it's like we've seen more and more that people they have opinions about the wrong things. They're thinking about life backwards because of the proliferations of the digital age, the proliferation of the psychological warfares that they're playing on us through media, through what we watch, what we listen to, how we interact with each other. It's just gotten out of hand. And I'm at a point where I just feel like there's not enough people speaking up because we should be outraged by a lot of these things. I mean, you take, for instance, it's like the American Revolution started over a 2% tax.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now? And then it's just like no one's in an uproar with what the Doge has found. Like this whole, like this new the Department of Economic Efficiency, government efficiency, it's like all of these findings should have us in an uproar. All of these findings should have us be pretty pissed off, because if we look at the cost of living right now, it's at its highest it's ever been. I mean, since probably the Great Depression, and we're now seeing unemployment levels surpassing 2008 recession. Why is that?
Yeah. Yeah, Jason, I just want to ask you something real quick. You talking about this, I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Because the Democrats are all up in arms. We're seeing protests across the country about President Trump cutting taxes. What are your thoughts on that?
They're upset, and they're upset because it's like, okay, they think that, well, here's the thing. They're lining their pockets with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
So if the tax dollars are cut, that means the money that's coming in their pockets are cut. That's the problem, right? It's like they're upset about these things where they're like, oh yeah, we're taxing the rich, but half of them are the rich people, right? More than half of them are the rich people, the lobbyists that are lining their pockets up, trying to get them to push certain progressive movements. They're getting paid millions of dollars on a $200K salary. And at the end of the day, it's like, how are you making this much money? And then you're saying tax the rich, tax the rich. But I'm sure they have certain things in place so that they can evade those same taxes that they're trying to impose. But most of the people who have the money, they're smart enough to get the right CPAs, to have the right tax shelters, and minimize their tax liabilities. So I'm sure, like, even though that they're saying that, those are just buzzwords. That's propaganda. Really, the people that get taxed the most is the middle class. Let's just put it, let's call a spade a spade. The people that get taxed the most in this country are the middle class families. The middle class is being taxed the most. Millionaires and billionaires are not paying any taxes because they know where to put their money. And if you look at the tax laws were never made to. It was made by the rich. Basically, there's the tax laws. There's 80 something pages for the tax laws. Only 2 pages tells you how to pay the taxes. The rest of the entire tax law is telling you ways to avoid taxes. The rich have learned how to avoid taxes. So at the end of the day, they're in uproar. What are they in uproar for? Because they can't line their own pockets. Those programs that they were funding, I'm sure they're putting a little cake on top, a little cherry on top, so that they can line their own pockets. So it's like, yeah, we're putting $2 billion towards this, and out of the $2 billion, 40 million, there's a 40 million discrepancy or 50 million discrepancy that's probably lining like 4 people's pockets. I don't know what to tell you. It's corruption at its highest level. And so Trump knows that. The Doge is starting to, they're making people aware of that. And so with that, it's like, okay, we should do something about this. And so we're cutting it. We're cutting taxes, but with all these programs, all the USAID programs, yeah, we're getting rid of them. Everything that we come across where there's discrepancies and we're funding stupid programs, let's get rid of it. And all that money needs to go back to the American people. Now, there's talks of a stimulus check for the American people. Good. People need it right now. They're hurting. Families are hurting across this country. And it's sad. It sucks to see, with unemployment being at an all-time high, what we're going to see is an all-time high of crime. And that's the worst part. And no one's talking about that either. And I just, I feel it bothers me, because on a daily, it's like you think about this stuff and there's senseless crime and senseless violence happening, whether that be from the illegal immigrants that's coming into America or the people that's right here in this country, because there's a lot of crime that's happening with our citizens right here in this country. Why? Because they are mentally distraught, distressed, or just mentally ill, or there's just problems that are happening. People are suffering. They don't know how to deal with it, how to cope with it. And if they're not from a good background, or they've never been taught how to do these things, like how to cope with certain stresses that happens in life, they're committing crimes, and we have a lot of deranged people in this world. People aren't able to protect themselves. It sucks. It sucks to see, and the cost of living being at its highest point, and you're not bringing in any income, or all you're bringing in is, government funding, or like unemployment and stuff. And it is those programs don't really help. It just enables and proliferates laziness, and it doesn't help with the productivity of this country.
Yeah.
And so if the country continued to decrease in productivity, it's just like our country goes just down the drain. It sucks.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, this is really just the largest money laundering operation that we've seen in human history, frankly. And I think like the USAID, this is just a portion of this huge pie that we are exposing, the corruption. And of course, the Democrats are up in arms because they have a hand in the corruption, and they know they're going to be exposed for it. They know that Elon Musk, they know that President Trump is going to hold them accountable for their actions. But as we wrap this interview up, Jason, I really appreciate you coming on the show, sharing that story that you have, being a part of and seeing corruption with your own eyes from family members that have seen just what Hillary Clinton, and I'm not shocked one bit the fact that they have a huge hand in the sex trafficking ring that we're seeing in the United States of America right now. But I'm curious your thoughts. I love hearing from people what they believe the greatest issue facing America is. I believe there is a great issue, and the greatest issue facing America, and that's the breakdown of the family. But I'm curious your thoughts on the greatest issue facing our country right now.
Yeah, with me being in the tech world, there's a couple of things. I mean, it's the attack on the family unit, right, and just the attacks that are just, I mean, what's being politicized and what's being pushed out to the youth through the internet. The digital age that we live in is a very strange thing. It's not something that, a lot of the things that we deal with today, people didn't have to deal with hundreds of years ago. And so this is the first time in history we're dealing with a set of new problems. And these problems are it's hard to really figure out how do you put your finger on it. But it's like the biggest thing is it's social media, right? And what's being pushed in social media. Like you said it very clearly in your book here. I have your book, and you talk about it right here, where it's like both kids and adults are being bombarded with unrealistic fairy tale world through social media. Like the need for sexual gratification, pleasure yourself with porn, the need for fellowship. You're feeling lonely. It's just you hop on social media platforms and feel fulfilled. but it's not really fulfilling anything.
Uh,
You know, it's not fulfilling anything, and so we're seeing more and more of that. And it's, the social media is not causing more connectivity, it's causing a lot of people to be more and more lonely, because they think, oh yeah, let me check on my friends through social media. Okay, that's all I needed for today. I don't really need to hang out with them, because like I got to speak to them, or send a meme to them on, over social media. I don't really need to talk to anyone. It's just like, or I could go sit and play video games and stream, and I'm just talking to invisible people, where they're just typing on their end and talking to me through the screen. I don't really need to socialize with people. And this is very strange. It's a very strange time that we live in right now. And I just think that it's one of the reasons why the startup that I have right now, it's like, okay, with the proliferation of where we're going with tech and with AI, it's like I might as well build something that's going to help with the mental wellness of people, because a lot of the tools, we're already starting to see that they're not being used in the most productive manner. We talk about, like you talk about Instagram, and how people are getting on Instagram and all these different platforms, and they're basically getting sexual gratification from social media. It's getting so bad that, you know, people are making fake AI versions of models that are scantily clad and just basically wearing nothing, and getting this, and not only that, but people are pushing it like, oh yeah, you can make $5,000 from just, from making this AI model, and doing these things and creating these pictures, and then posting it on platforms like OnlyFans. And it's just like, it's unreal. Like, once again, we are living in some of the craziest times in history right now. It's like, because now what we're seeing is that people are using technology to make money on the easiest things that sells. And what are those things? Those things are men's lust, women's desire for beauty, elderly's health, children's education, rich people's fear of loss, and poor people's desire to get rich quickly. So we're seeing that, but with all of these categories, people are now using technology in the most devious, the most diabolical ways, where they're selling either fake supplements that don't really work, and they're telling elderly people it works, right? They're making AI models, and they're posting it on OnlyFans, and then they're selling fake beauty products to women, stuff that don't even work, and they're telling poor people, hey, here's how you get rich really quick. Here are these meme coins, or here are these AI models that you can make, and you can set up a fake a page where you're catfishing people, pretty much, and making money off of people's ignorance and men's lust. And so there's just all these things that's just being proliferated right now, that I think is just, it's a great threat. And and then the greater threat to that is just, the biggest breakdown is just the family unit, like the attack on the family unit, the emasculation of men, the proliferation of modern feminism, right? And the gender roles that they're stating, and even just the social norm that, people should have one or two kids. Like, oh yeah, no, if you have more than two kids, you're crazy. Like, my family, we're looked at like we have three heads. Like, are you crazy? Like, people genuinely are upset when they see our family out, because it's like, how dare you have more than two kids? It's like, but God said to be fruitful and multiply, right? How dare you? Like, how dare you go to work and have your wife stay at home? Well, that's kind of her duty, right? Like, it's part of the Bible. It's her duty to be the homemaker and my helper, and I'm the provider, right? It's preach, provide, protect for me, right? I preach, provide, protect. I'm making sure my family upholds its value, raising strong women in my home. I have my wife that she's also a very strong woman. God, I am blessed for her. Thank God for her too. She is a strong firecracker of a woman that she has a good head on her shoulders, wicked smart, but she is helping me raise some very smart, sharp young ladies, and they're going to be warriors of the kingdom, warriors for God. Women of the part of the generation alpha, I know that they're going to be the leaders of generation alpha. Why? Because I'm raising them. And as a man, I don't care what society say about masculinity or toxic masculinity. My mom raised me to be masculine. I didn't have a father figure a lot of the times, but I had coaches. I played sports. I had coaches. I had my karate teacher. I had a lot of positive people in my life. I had my pastors, a lot of people to direct me in the right direction of what true masculinity looks like. And so for me, I'm not sitting here asking to split the bills with my wife 50-50. No, I'm paying the whole thing. I'm taking care of my family, right? I'm not going to allow people, to sit here and think that, yeah, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be, like you shouldn't be doing this or doing that. And like these things. So one of the things that you also mentioned too, I just wanted to say one more thing. My life has been a testimony, and in the book, you talk about the realities of medical abortion. I want to say this loud and clear. I am the direct result of my mom almost getting an abortion, but she ended up keeping me, and it was the best decision she ever made in her life because now I am able to pour into my children and teach them differently. I through the Lord, I was able to get another chance. And thank God that God stepped in when he did, and that miracle happened. And I truly believe that a lot of men need to step up. Here in the book, you talk about Adam's failure. I think we all need to recognize Adam's failure, right? Learning from the first man's mistake. We need to learn from that. We need to understand that we need to guard our family and lead our family. When I'm not there, yeah, my wife is trying to protect our family. We've talked about situational awareness and her keeping her eyes peeled, and she has her head on a swivel. That's how it should be, right? But when I am there, my eyes and my head are on a swivel, and she knows that she's okay. She can just tend to the kids because I'm aware, and I'm packing. I'm always packing. So it's like, a lot of people are like, what do you think about gun carry? I think it's important for us to all carry guns. We need more good guys with guns than we need bad guys with guns, right? And the reason why is because we need to protect and uphold the lives of everyone around us. And there needs to be more good men out there. A few good. I have this concept that I'm still brewing over, and it's just like this concept called a few good men, and where it's like it's creating a movement where the people, that's just men that wants to come together and do something different, that want to be the leaders, the next leaders of our generation, right? Because Gen Z, we are on the brink of, we're now getting to the point where we're in adulthood, and we are at that stage where it's like, okay, we need to start taking roles of leadership. We need to start focusing on leadership, right? And so that's all I want to do. I just want to focus on leadership. I want to focus on being masculine, but what it means to be biblically masculine. And we're not talking about what modern society are pushing right now with, you got to be an alpha male this, alpha male that. No, I'm talking about godly masculinity, right? Being in touch with your soft side, but still having that rough side. Being like David, right? Because King David, he had that rough side to him, but then he was the guy that was always dancing and singing and playing instruments. But yeah, if you told him to go cut a giant's head off, he could go do that. Right, he could go protect the army, the army of Israel, and he can go defend the army of God's people, and he does that. He was a savage, but at the same time, he has a soft spot, and it goes back to that quote where it's like, if you want peace, you must be ready for war. And I think a lot of men need to think like that. If like we have to constantly be training mentally, tactically. We have to constantly be training on how to use weapons, yield weapons, self-defense. Those are things that we need to learn. And women too. I think all women, because we live in a time where people are crazy. You don't know. Things can spawn, randomly, and you just might be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you have to be able to defend yourself to the best of your ability and protect your family. As a man, I do believe that that's something that there's not enough of. There's a lot of men where, if an intruder were to break their home, they're telling their wives to go check instead of them, right? They're hiding in the corner with their wives instead of them getting up and actually protecting the home like they should, right? And so, yeah, that's pretty much all I have. If you have any more questions.
Yeah, well, for my listeners, obviously what you said was incredible, and I appreciate you coming on the show today. Is there a way that my listeners can find you, support what you're doing, and follow you on social media?
Yeah, so I have my Instagram page is called the Gilles Show, where I'm now putting out content. The current content that I'm putting out, I'm going to get on some of the events that are happening across the country, but right now I'm focused on. I want to talk to men about faith, family, and finance. I think a lot of young men in society, they need that guidance, especially the ones who plan on getting married. And there's a lot of nuance that goes into it, and it's an art of balancing it all and how to properly balance it all. And so I'm doing a lot of content on that right now. But I will be shifting gears to a lot of the current events that's happening across this country, because I think it's not being talked about enough. And I think a lot of the younger generation needs to start speaking up. And I think we all need to start speaking up, just like you. You do a very phenomenal job, a great job of just really letting the world know what's going on right now. And there needs to be more people like you, more people like us that's really doing it and exposing what's being done. And just stand up for truth, stand up for honesty, stand up for truth, stand up for good conservative values. I think the true values that we should have, the values that this country was founded on, there needs to be more people standing up for it. And so that's what I'm here for, and that's what you're here for. And I think God has given us an opportunity to continue to shine our light and our beacon, and be a beacon and be a salt of the earth. And so I'm excited about just the future and what it holds for everyone, what it holds for you. If you guys haven't gotten her book, definitely go check it out. This book is absolutely phenomenal. I've read through it once. I'm reading through it again. I'm highlighting stuff, and I'm just like, this is pretty awesome. I know there's going to be a sequel, and just when it comes time for that sequel, let's talk about AI, because I have so much to talk about with everything that's going on right now. So, but this is a great book, guys. It's the last chance to save our country or our republic, and you guys should definitely check it out.
Last chance to save our republic. Jason, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm glad you're enjoying the book. Again, remind us your Instagram. It's the Jason Gilles Show?
Yes, the Jason Gilles Show.
Jason Gilles Show. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jason, for coming on the show today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs, Patriot TV is launching a brand new TV series showcasing American-made products, and your business could be featured. Whether you sell your products online on Etsy or Shopify and dream of reaching millions of viewers on smart TVs like Samsung, Sony, TCL, and LG, or apps like Roku, Android, and Apple TV, this is your chance. We're searching for US-based businesses offering all types of products and services proudly made in the USA. If you've ever wanted to showcase your products on TV like QVC or the Home Shopping Network, now's your opportunity. Support our American economy, grow your business, and be seen by loyal Patriot viewers across the country. Know someone with a business or have a business yourself? Don't miss out. Contact us at supportingpatriots.com today. Be a guest on this new exciting TV series. Let's put your American-made products in the spotlight. If you're like me and value products that work and align with your beliefs, you will love Nimi Skincare, America's skincare company, proudly made in the USA. Nimi stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Nimi skincare products are formulated with clean and safe ingredients, free from harmful chemicals and toxins, ensuring they're safe for your skin while delivering incredible results. Nimi delivers luxury skincare at sensible prices, cutting out the middleman to bring effective, clean products straight to your door. Whether you're looking to hydrate, brighten, or reduce fine lines, their simple routines are designed for every skin type. Ready to elevate your skincare? Head over to your favorite show host fan page at Patriot TV to get started with Nimi Skincare and use the link to get your automatic 10% order discount. Nimi Skincare, America's skincare, proudly made for women who stand for what's right.
What do a
All
neurosurgeon?
right, everybody, thank you all so much for tuning in with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, share this with your friends and family. I will see you in the next episode. Grab your copy of Last Chance to Save Our Republic. The links will all be in the description so you can follow Jason and what he is doing. I'll see you guys in the next episode. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.